I had intentions of making a video when I came here. Because, again, I can't do it in my house anymore. I need a whole new laptop. If I don't get a laptop, I can't make videos in my house anymore. There's a TV on them, and the sound is usually not on. They usually have just closed caption and stuff, and I know I look like crap. That's what I look like. And I'm probably supposed to be looking over here. An intention of making a proper review video for the Michael Jackson movie. And I think I'm going to do that. I'm looking in the wrong place. Don't get mad. And I'm supposed to eat my snacks. And I think I have about half an hour. So, wait a minute. Let me check everything. And then I'll be right back. Try it like this. See if I can. Oh, no, I didn't get the stupid notes out of the purse. Watch this, because it's propped up against the purse. It's gonna fall. So stupid. Alright, so I'm eating too. So this is the fourth time I saw Michael in the theater. Oh, that's my fish trap. I'm doing everything completely wrong. That moved it over. So, this time I was in the big room at the local theater that I go to. As time goes on, I'm realizing I like the big room least. So why I try to reserve in that room, because of the sound. When it's sound related, I really need to pick another theater. And I should remember that. I gotta tell a whole story about. There's somebody who, this was the third time the third or fourth or second time somebody said they wanted to go with me. Or I asked, because I go to the movies by myself. I don't need people to go anywhere. And there's a person who a couple times I've gone out to have lunch or breakfast with her. Because I think she's the kind of person who doesn't like to go shopping or do things by herself. So when there's a movie that I think she would like to see, I've been like, oh, do you want to go? So years ago, when Killers of the Flower Moon came out, she said she got the book. She acted like she wanted to go. I was like, okay, because I have the membership and stuff, I booked the tickets. She cancels at the last minute, which, okay, things happen, but I'm not really a fan of that. Like, I don't make plans with people and then cancel them unless it's something egregious, right? So Wicked, I thought she wanted to see, but because of that first time, I was like, yeah, I'm not paying attention. Then Wicked came and went. I saw it like, 10 times? Nothing. I'm hoping this is picking up more than the TV. So I'm hoping it picks up my voice better. So then I thought, when For Good came out, I said, okay, I'll pretend, I'll ask and see if she wants to go see For Good, if she watches the other part on TV, and then she never watched the first part, even though she said she wanted to go see For Good. Tell me when it's coming out. Tell me when it's coming out. This is what she said. So this time, I know this person was a fan of Michael Jackson. I know that they went and saw Michael Jackson in real life, which I never saw him in concert. So a couple months ago, I'm like, hey, you know this Michael Jackson movie? Oh, yeah, I really want to see that. Let me know when it's coming out. So I told her last month, oh, it's at the end of April. Right. Oh, okay, let me know. So, but this time I'm like, okay, I'm going to reserve my ticket. I've got a ticket reserved and yesterday I lost one of my reservations because I had originally reserved it for Boston. It disappears on the app. Can't cancel it, which I'm sick of. And then I'm trying to get them to, but I don't want them to have to cancel it every time I get a cancel because it disappears on the app. But anyway, so I lost the reservation. So I might only be able to see it 94 times instead of 95 times. Anyway, so I had a reservation reserved for today at the local theater. So I said to her, if you want to, I booked a seat. If you want to buy the seat next to me, that's fine. So then a couple of days ago, I told her, like, okay, so she's like, I told her, so I bought the ticket, you could buy the seat next to me. She's like, I don't know how to do it. She snaps at me and gives me money to buy the ticket. I'm like, okay. So I take the money, buy the ticket, reserve the ticket. Oh, that's so great. All right, that's so great. Don't I get a text yesterday? Oh, I got something I got to deal with. I can't go. I mean, look, things happen and stuff like that. But sometimes I don't. This is why I don't bother hanging around with people, because then I have this crap in my head. I don't want this crap in my head. I don't need people to go places with. I prefer to go by myself, but I know other people don't like going out to things. They don't like going to dinner. They don't like eating by themselves. They don't like shopping by themselves. I learned this as a kid. That I had one friend who somehow we got to high school and she was afraid to take her tray to the garbage chute by herself. And I was like, what's wrong with you? You know what I mean? So there are people like that though. But I don't particularly think that's a great character trait, but I'm not afraid. I prefer to do things. So I'm not trying to be friends. I'm not trying to have lifelong friends with people. They want to be friends and stuff like that or whatever. Fine. But I'm just like, yeah, no. Yesterday I was so pissed off. Whatever happens, happens. But this is why I was like, you buy the ticket. So I'm just like, anyway, so the movie. So again, I go, this is the big room, so there's way more people in the room. This was a dud audience. They weren't laughing when they were supposed to or nothing. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to take notes and I'll do my official review. Now watch this end up not being, I should keep time on the other one because I don't want to miss the bus. What time is it? Okay, it's 4:06. Okay. So. Fourth viewing of Michael. In this life, you're either a winner or a loser. Now listen. That's the kind of attitude President Trump has, and I think it's true, and I know I'm a loser. I didn't mean to be, but I didn't have that kind of attitude. I've said a million times I'm not competitive. You know what I mean? So I didn't think in those terms. I still don't think in those terms, but those people that think that way are starting to be right, and I gotta admit. So I was wondering what Joe did. This time I picked up he worked in a steel mill. Okay, so, and then the other thing, they call him Joseph, and I know that when I was trying to be a wise ass, just like a teenager, I would call my mother Gladys. But that wasn't what I was supposed to do. So this guy's over here with his strap and everything, and they're calling him Joseph, and I'm like, but it looks like that's what he wants. So very confused by that. The kid calls the kid Big Nose. I'm like, oh great. But I always thought he got the nose jobs and stuff because he wanted to separate himself from his father as much as possible, so he didn't want to look like him at all. That was my thinking. Okay, so, and I think family members were in the audience when they go to the point where they're getting their gig and they're there, and Gladys Knight and the Pips are performing. There's a guy right down front. First time I saw it, I was like, that guy looks too modern to be in that time, like, multiracial, current-looking guy. I think he's a relative. I think I saw Jackie at one point in the corner. I don't know. Other people on Twitter have pointed out that Prince was right behind Jafar when he goes to make the announcement that this is the final tour, like right before he goes out. So I think the family is sprinkled in there in as extras. And I swear there's a girl who looks like either Kimmy Gibbler or the girl from Horizon. I don't know. But anyway, that's later on. But yeah. So the kid not being able to move his feet when Barry Gordy's got him recording. It's funny because it's like, oh, he's always dancing. But I think that's a muscle memory thing. As a fan of figure skating, you know how figure skating is. You train your whole life for those, 2 programs that are 5 minutes or less at the Olympics and all the pressure in the world. So what I have learned, not being an athlete, but watching athletes, is that they train them over and over again to do the whole program over and over and over and over again so that they get muscle memory, meaning they're in the Olympics, they do something wrong, they fall down, whatever. Instead of being able to think about it and feel bad and mess up more because of your headspace, your body is supposed to kick in and just do the steps, do the choreography without you. So to me, that's muscle memory. The kid doesn't know how to sing without doing the choreographed steps, but they probably meant it to, he's always dancing, which is cute anyway. Lawrence Tate, I thought was interesting because he had played freaking Lyman. Did I say Lyman? In Why Do Fools Fall in Love? How did that just come to me? Because I didn't write it down. Why Do Fools Fall in Love? I think that was the title. I don't know if I watched that all the way through. But yeah, he still kind of looks exactly the same. How old was that movie? Like 20 more years ago? Is this kid... Oh, the boy, I just forgot his name. Giuliano something. The one who plays younger Michael. I wrote down, is this kid actually singing? Or did they do some kind of tricky isolated vocals? I'm like, oh, I don't actually know. Either way, the kid's great. When he hugs, when he hugs Berry Gordy, Joe's looking at him like, what's that thing he's doing with his arms? You know, like from Flash Gordon. There's water leaking from her eyes. That's what it reminded me of. Bill Bray looks like Black Pegasus. So, I guess that's the title of his YouTube channel. There's a guy, I guess he was a rapper. I don't listen to rap, but he does reaction videos. And I forget what his real name is. But the channel's Black Pegasus. That's how he says it. And the guy who plays Bill Bray looks like him to me. So Michael and his mother are watching movies all the time. And they're watching Singing in the Rain. And I said, First time I watched it, I'm like, I feel like that should be Fred Astaire. Not that he didn't watch Gene Kelly. We all watch Gene Kelly. We all love Gene Kelly. Every single one of us who wanted to be a dancer watches that and tries to do those steps from, the rain scene. Or Gotta Dance. I love doing Gotta Dance. Anyway, the point is, I was more of a fan of Gene Kelly. I did not like Fred Astaire growing up. But Michael obviously likes Fred Astaire. Rock My World video, which I love the choreography in there. I hadn't seen, I forget which Fred Astaire movie it is. Could be Bandwagon, could be Easter Parade. It's not for Easter Parade because I would have remembered it. Anyway, it's a big Fred Astaire movie. That is like totally 100%. Rock My World is totally 100%. Like when he's like, Rock My World. All that is totally Fred Astaire. So, yeah, it was interesting that there was no Fred Astaire, but there was Gene Kelly. So that's interesting. And struggle to trying to use the scoop, those scoops. I could never work that scoop to get the Breyer's ice cream out of there, and Breyer's ice cream was tough. Jehovah said, let your light shine, and then she's like, don't let anybody stop you. You let your light shine and people will stop you. I don't have much of a light, but when I be myself and I go around being happy, even though my life sucks, people want to make sure you're sad. People hate it. They those demons coming out of the woodwork to get you. So Michael Jackson had anybody that big, or nobody else is that big, but anybody close to that big, has all the bad juju of jealousy coming at them every single minute of every single day. The Epic guys, he needs a drink because he's got to tell. Michael's always like, I'm going to tell Joseph to his face. Then he gets somebody else to do it. And I said, this crowd is not laughing like they were supposed to. They didn't laugh at anything. The llama, when he was talking to the llama the first time, and you couldn't see who it was because they're off to the side. I thought it was Stephanie Mills, which I don't really know if they really go out because I didn't know his gossip. I came in, and this is shocking to me. My favorite song is Don't Stop Till You Get Enough. What bothers me is I got to the theater realizing I don't know the words. I've been just like going along with it all these years, but everything from Shirley on, I know like the back of my hand. So I was surprised when I got there to realize I don't know all the words to this, especially in the beginning. So I had to look them up. I'm like, this is not what I was saying. But yeah, give me a second. I gotta chew some of this. It's funny how fast time goes and how I don't judge it well anymore. I lost my pen in the seat while I was doing this. Decided to get another one. The actor playing Quincy is too good looking. Yeah, he is. I know some people on the internet were like, oh no, and they're showing pictures of young Quincy, and I'm like, no. I haven't had this much fun on Twitter in years, like maybe since the aughts, in the early 2000s. Not early 2000s, but in the 2000s. Like 2008, stuff like that. Everybody was just having so much fun going and seeing the movie over and over again, talking about it. Why is LaToya? Yeah, somebody on Twitter said, why does LaToya look Filipino? She always kind of look like a Filipino, let's be, honest. Come on. And then Bubble shows up. And Michael low-key threatens Joe with him, which is funny. And he's reading Peter Pan to him. And people interpret it as Michael looked at Peter Pan and wanted Peter Pan's nose. Nobody thinks that. I think that was just a movie effect. Oh, and Bubbles is really good CGI. And I have to say something else Twitter said because it was hilarious. Somebody was like, fun fact, most people don't know that Bubbles grew up to be Robbie Williams. Which is really funny if you're from Twitter, because that movie, and there are people who are comparing this movie to Better Man and saying Better Man is a much better film. I had such a hard time forcing myself to sit through that shit. That CGI was absolutely atrocious. I couldn't stand looking at him. I don't know. They just could have had Robbie Williams in a monkey suit or just have Robbie Williams. It was a stupid gimmick, and I was like, no, thank you. And I don't know that there was any story there to tell. He didn't have much conflict except his dad didn't believe in him. But anyway, his dad believed in him. I don't know this one song, the song he sang about Dreamer and stuff. But anyway, the CGI on Bubbles was perfect. QT. So Quentin Tarantino did a video, or somebody put the video of Quentin Tarantino talking on some podcast about the Jacksons. And I listened to it and I was like, oh my God, I know nothing. See, Quentin's like 10 years older than me. So, like I said, I don't know the 70s stuff. He knows everything. And I'll try, maybe if I do post this, to put it up on the in the corner there. And then the dad, Joe's talking about how the family's Coca-Cola, which is so funny because it ends up being Pepsi that ruins them. Jermaine stayed with Motown. Somebody said he married Berry Gordy's daughter. I don't know Jermaine's business, but this makes me want to go back. I really liked the song he did with Pia Zadora. And I liked something else around the torture. I like Torture. Was Jermaine lead on that? Is that why I'm thinking of it? Anyway, if Jermaine had every right to be jealous because he was the older brother, but I don't think he was, right? He wasn't. I love Miles Teller. That's the next scene in the boardroom, which is a great scene. I need you to fire Joseph quickly. These people didn't laugh at that either, which, come on. And, okay, so Joseph and Ike. I watched this movie and I'm sitting there like, I needed a Joe Jackson in my life. Not that one, but I love that song, Stepping Out. Or an Ike Turner. Some of us have no discipline and nobody wants to get beat up. But I'm the kind of person who says, I'll feel bad for everybody. I'll feel bad for Hitler because I feel you're supposed to be compassionate to your fellow human beings. So I don't like it when people dismiss the role they played in somebody becoming famous. Like, okay, would the Jacksons have just been talented little kids in their neighborhood? Or would they have always risen to the top? People think cream rises to the top. I don't know that. I don't know that. So I would never discount that he trained them up to, you know what I mean, and put them out there. And I don't, like, even with Ike, yeah, he was bad, bad. But would she have ever left that bush? Well, she left and came back, but you get what I'm saying. So, I don't know. Maybe you need that villain. You need that Svengali type person. You need that Colonel Parker. I mean, Elvis didn't need Colonel Parker because it was always already on his way. But maybe you need them to be that big. Twister, Gary Coleman, Robbie the Robot. The Prince line. When everybody else is laughing at the Prince line, like, that's new. I remember when Michael said that in that interview when that horrible Martin Bashir. And I always liked that line. And now, all these years later, I would know that New Age fruity people who I watch those kind of videos would call that the Akashic Records. Let me see. What time is it? Oh, I have like 5 minutes. I feel like Prince wasn't a problem until after Thriller. Yeah, so there was some timeline things there, like that scene in the pool talking about Prince. I feel like that was before, in the movie, that was before Thriller was a huge hit, but I didn't feel like Prince was his competition until after Thriller. I don't know. The Beat It choreography, Michael Peters looking in person was there, but I thought Michael Peters choreographed it, and it looked like there was no choreographer. It looked like it was Michael and a bunch of dancers. I don't know. Music does bring people together, the force of others. I'll have to talk about that at another time. I love Vincent Price. Then they go right into Thriller. The perfection on how they made the zombie guy look. The minute that came across, I was like, this movie, it has so many perfect moments. Then there are these timeline things, and other people were talking about Jafar's butt on the internet. The internet has been hilarious. I'm not even kidding. He's just shorter. He's not lean and stuff. That's the difference. Mike Myers, I really didn't understand why he was there, and I don't think at that point in time, if that's the point in time I'm thinking about, Reba was as big as she became maybe a little bit later. They're supposed to check this stuff. I don't know. Like I said, it's just memories in my head, kinda. I'm not an exacting person, so I don't know. I love when he says, Walter, please try harder. And that was like a threat. That was like, I can walk, I don't give two shits. Again, people didn't say two shits, three shits. People said, I don't care. They maybe said, I don't give a shit. If they were, you know what I mean? But at some point in the movie, somebody said something was tight. Every time I watch something from the 80s, I remember being alive. There's certain expressions right now that people didn't say back then, and I wish when they write these things, they'd be better at trying to remember that. Motown 25 was the big moment. I didn't know Don King. Oh, right, but I forgot Don King had anything to do with him. So after his accident, which I remember that like the back of my hand, that picture of him in the stretcher was on every tabloid, everywhere, all the time. He found his purpose to heal the world, right? The Victory Tour, I could not for the life of me figure out which brother was in the green jacket. And I'm trying to say I'm counting brothers, and I'm like, wait a minute. And I was like, I know the rest of them. Is it Jackie or is it Randy? And was Randy even there? Because the internet was saying Randy wasn't involved, but then I swore it said Randy was one of the producers. Very confused about that. But I checked finally today. The green jacket was Jackie. So, the concert part. So the end of the movie really becomes a concert. And that whole part, like I said, Chef's Kiss. What am I reading? The girl who looks like Kimmy Gibbler. The Jermaine guy's better looking. Don't say that. Anyway, what is Joe's astrology? Yeah, so that's the end of that. I wanted to look up this chart. I didn't. But yeah, I think the movie is a 9 out of 10. It's flawed. It's got issues. But I really want it to be nominated for things because there's so many things that are ultra perfect. You know what I mean? I really don't know the timeline enough to complain. I think some things are like mixed around. With Rocket Man, something like Rocket Man, they move things around to make it a proper musical. This is just a biopic. It's not a proper musical. So they didn't have to do that, but I don't know. Antoine Fuqua did a great job. I think I read something that made me think maybe he didn't actually do most of it because of all the constrictions they ended up with, all the people who didn't want to be involved, all this Diana Ross stuff. I don't know anything about that business. But yeah, the movie's amazing. Jafar is amazing. The kid, I think his name, what I just say his name was? Giuliano Angelino. The younger kid, I'm forgetting his name now, and I gotta hurry up. But yeah, they were all great. Colleen Domingo was great. Nia Long's always been really beautiful, and she kind of looked the same as she always did. But she kind of didn't have a lot of facial expressions. I was thinking about it. I don't think she ever did. She's really beautiful though. But otherwise, yeah, I want to see this movie as many times as I can. I don't know what will happen in the future. I don't know if I'll do a watch along. I don't know what my life's going to be like. I'm back to that state where God knows what's going to happen to me. But I just can't get it together. I get weaker and older every day. But this movie made me very happy. It made a lot of people very happy. I have not yet been in a theater where people break out dancing. I mean, I'm dancing in my seat, but I can't dance anyway. I used to be a very good dancer. I can't because I'm old and everything hurts. But yeah. Ooh. I knew I was going to do that. 9 out of 10. Go see it. Bye.